Okay, so okay, so I'm gonna share my screen now. Do you guys need me to go through the sources once more? Okay, the last time I went through the sources for this class series MYE, we already categorized each source by how it answers the assertion question, right? Okay, so we should already have it all there. I just have one thing to say, which is that there was one source which you guys told me supported the claim, but it could actually work both sides. I think this was Alia's group. Alia's group, do you remember which source it was?
No, I think it was source B.
Sorry, do you remember which source it was?
It was source B.
I'm not too sure. Okay,
You're very soft.
I think it was source B.
Source B, is it? Okay, so source, we said that source B could be, yeah, okay, so for those who were not in Hashirin's class, right, I think this was Kaushaw, Chloe, and a few of you in the first class and first round. Okay, after thinking about it and after we talked about it in the second class, right, source B, if we look at source B, let me share my screen. Lishan is in. I'm gonna share my screen. Okay, so you should be able to see my screen here. Yeah, so okay, and I already annotated the source for you guys here. Okay, anyway, as I was saying, for source B, all right, this is a source that can actually do both sides, all right, that can actually support the assertion question both sides. So the assertion question is American aggression caused the outbreak of the Korean War, right? Caused the outbreak of the Korean War. Okay, so the focus being on on American aggression. Okay, so the last time I talked about, I pointed out this part, they must liquidate the unpatriotic fascist puppet regime of Syngman Rhee, right? And I pointed out how this referred to the USA controlling South Korea. So in that sense, because of American aggression, it could be that this source would support the idea of American aggression, being that they controlled South Korea, and therefore this led to the whole outbreak of the Korean War. Okay, so we said that in our class, we said that this source would support the assertion question. Okay, but at the same time, right, in the second class, okay, the students pointed out to me that the very last part, okay, the war which we are forced, okay, the war which we are forced to wage is a just war for the unification and independence of the motherland and for freedom and democracy. Okay, so you guys pointed out to me that because of this reason, unification and independence, okay, unification and independence, so it refers to the motivations of the North Korean and South Korean side. In this case, it's Kim Il-sung, right? It's North Korea. Okay, therefore, this showed that it was not American aggression that started the outbreak of the Korean War. Instead, it would be that there was the conflict between North Korea and South Korea that started the Korean War. Okay, so just to clarify for both classes who went through the sources with me, this is a source that can do both, that can support both sides in terms of the assertion question. Okay. Okay, let me stop sharing my screen. I'm gonna show you guys what I want you guys to do today. Shouldn't take too long. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so we have, let me see. screen. Okay, so we have, how many people do we have in this Zoom? We have 10 minus me and my 2 devices. We have 10 people in this Zoom. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, beautiful. Okay, we have 5 sources, 10 people. Okay, I know, I will help you guys with source B first. Okay, because source B is a source that can do both sides, right? Okay, so source B is a source that can do both sides. Okay, so just recap, let me help you guys. Okay, so source A, source A, does it support or does it oppose the assertion question? Hello. Source A, does it support or does it oppose the assertion question? I'm just gonna write it out briefly here for you guys. Support, oppose, support. Okay, I see Alia nodding, support. Okay, source B, we said can do both. Source B, so depending on the evidence you pick. Okay, source B, support and no slash or oppose. Okay, source C, does it support or does it oppose? The US imperialists was absorbed in searching for a way to occupy Korea.
Support.
Support, right?
Support.
Okay, thank you. Source D, support or oppose? Was it American aggression or was it something else?
It was something else.
Right, or something else. So in your writing, you need to be very clear about what is this something else. Okay, so we put there oppose. Okay, and source E, this weird source that we did the usefulness for.
Oppose.
Oppose, right? Okay. At this point, as you guys look through the sources, is there anything you don't understand about the source actually? Okay, I'm going to give you guys 2 minutes here. Just look through the sources. I think especially the text sources, right? If you don't understand why it supports or opposes, please raise it up now so I can explain the sources again. Okay. Okay. Like I said, I'm going to give you guys 2 minutes. Just read through the sources again. What am I missing? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, 1 more minute. Okay, are we all ready? Is there any source or any part of the source that you don't understand? Everyone okay? Okay, okay, then I'm gonna model how to write your assertion question now. Yeah, okay, please go on to this document. I just sent it in the group chat, but you can also find it in the remediation extra workplace. This one is called, let me see, it should be called Pasir's MYE 2018 assertion. Okay, this one here. Okay, so please go into the Google Doc now. Okay. So let me see. Wait, before I move on, I feel like I'm missing someone here. Akila, Chloe, Alia, Kaushal, Zain, Edisa, Hashrin, Junwei, Wei Chong. Who am I missing here? No one, right? Okay, then that is who? Ethan. Ethan's in the group chat. Ethan's here, man. But Ethan is not here, right? Is Ethan here? Li Xuan. Okay, so Akila and Li Xuan. Okay. Yeah. Because Ethan is not here today for some reason. Ethan and Bitsy. Okay. Anyway, sort out the timing for you guys. Okay, so we have, this is a 7-mark question. 7-mark question. We said that as far as possible, we take less than an hour. Right, we take less than an hour. Okay, let me write all of this down. Okay, so strategy time, strategy. We take 1 hour for section A. Okay, 40 minutes for section B. Okay, this is assuming you are very familiar, must be super familiar with content, right? So that when it comes to section B, you can just fill everything you know, okay, without thinking too much. All right, time strategy, 1 hour for section A, 40 minutes for section B. Okay, so we have 60 minutes, and this is a 30-mark. This is a 30-mark paper, which means that every mark would be about 2 minutes. Okay, so 1 mark, 2 minutes, right? Okay, for section A. All right, but this doesn't include your annotation time. All right, this doesn't include your annotation time, which means that actually it's less than 2 minutes per mark. Okay, less than 2 minutes per mark. So this is a 7-mark question. We will take 14 minutes in total. All right, we'll take 14 minutes in total, less than 40 minutes in total. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sources. So 14 minutes divided by 5 sources. Okay, technically you should take about 3 minutes or less. Okay, so each source 3 minutes or less. Okay. All right, but I'll be nice. Okay, and I know because you guys are working together as a pair. All right, I'll give you guys 5 minutes. Okay, let me do this. All right, so let me time myself. Okay, I'm gonna do this in 5 minutes for your source B. Okay, 5 minutes. Okay, so source B, let's all look at source B now. All right. Okay, I'm gonna do the support side. Okay, I'm gonna do the support side. I'm gonna model for you what is expected of you lah. Okay, so when it comes to your assertion question, what's the format that we use? How do we answer an assertion question?
APEE.
APEE. Okay, APEE. All right, so assertion. Oops. APEE. Okay, and I think the E is what you guys have the most problem with here. Okay, but think of it as like sort of like you're identifying the factor and the issue here, right? So what is the factor and the issue in this question? Maybe we can start with the issue first. What's the issue in this question? Maybe I can ask Zane. Zane, if you look at this statement, right? American aggression caused the outbreak of the Korean War. What is the issue in this question?
Outbreak of the Korean War.
Yes, very good. Okay, so this is my issue. Okay, which means that everything that I talk about must link back to this, right? So this is my issue. Oops. Okay, and then, so presumably then, your factor would be American aggression, right? This is your factor. So if it supports, then you must explain very thoroughly how does American aggression, all right, lead to the outbreak of the Korean War, right? So when we think about outbreak, let's break down the issue together. Issue, outbreak of the Korean War. What would cause the outbreak of the Korean War? What do you guys know would cause the outbreak of the Korean War? Can we get Junwei to help us, right? How do we break down this statement? This phrase, outbreak of the Korean War. Junwei, you there?
Hello.
Yes, hello. So outbreak of the Korean War, right? So what would cause out the outbreak of the Korean War? How will you talk about the outbreak of the Korean War?
I would look at the
Like, how do you
source.
explain? Sorry?
I would just look at the source and like
Okay.
uh
Okay, but how do you know the outbreak of the Korean War would happen? Like you know, like breaking down the question as if it's a factor and issue, right? And you're doing the explanation portion. How are you gonna explain towards outbreak of the Korean War?
like someone caused it.
Someone caused it lah.
Yeah.
Okay, so how would someone cause it?
By like attacking either North Korea or South Korea.
Okay, so I'm gonna use your words by attacking South Korea. All right, so then what will happen? So what if there's an attack?
Then there'll be conflict.
Why would there be conflict?
Cause
Okay, it's not enough to just say, oh, one side was attacked, therefore the Korean War started, right? But what leads to a war? What would happen when North Korea or South Korea is attacked? Okay, let me help you. So tensions heighten, right? Anything else? Anything else we can think of for why your war would happen?
I cannot think of any. I'm sorry.
Okay, it's okay. Tensions heighten. Okay, attacking North Korea and South Korea. Okay, if you think about attacking North Korea and South Korea, right? How would these two countries like view an attack on them? What would they view this attack as? Okay.
Invasion.
Okay. Viewed as invasion. Okay, let me give you more words, right? It's a provocation, right? Act of intimidation, right? Whatever else you can think of lah. Okay, tensions heighten. Okay, other than tensions heightening, right? What else would lead to the outbreak of the Korean War? So what if tensions heighten? How would that lead to the two countries deciding to launch a war against each other? Anyone else can help actually.
Different ideology.
Okay, different ideology. So
They won't agree with one another.
okay, disagreements, all right. But so far we're talking about it as if it's like a polite disagreement, right? We're talking about it as if it's just like a friendly argument between two people, right? But war, right? How does different ideologies and disagreements lead to war? What about these different ideologies? Is it just that it's different? Or is there something more to it? Think about communism and communism versus capitalism, right? These two are, what are they? Is it just that they're different?
Conflicting.
It's conflicting, right? Conflicting. It's clashing, right? You can say they are antithetical, right? So antithetical meaning they are completely opposite, right? They're completely opposite. They are opposing each other. Opposing, okay, to each other. All right. As for disagreements, right? Let's use a stronger words than just disagreement. More than just disagreement, right? What would cause the outbreak of the Korean War? Okay. Clash, conflict in perhaps agenda and motivations, right? Possibly. Okay. All right. Okay, Hui Xi, you just joined us. What I'm doing now is I'm going through how to explain your assertion question, right? So let me just put you with this. Not Hui Xi. Please join this. Okay, I'm gonna send it to you again. This Word doc. Okay, and then I'm gonna model how to explain your source B. Okay, so when you explain with your E, right, it's not just about telling me, oh, because one side attacked the other side, so therefore the outbreak of Korean War happened. Okay, it's really about explaining. It's really about explaining how. Okay, it's really about explaining, right, using all of these terms, right? How does it lead to war? Because it's not just a polite disagreement, right? It's also more than just that. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to do a support side. Okay, American aggression caused the outbreak of the Korean War using source B. Okay, I'm going to time myself too because I'm going to give you guys 5 minutes. So I should be expected to do this within 5 minutes too. Okay, so let's start. All right. Please follow along with your source B. Yeah. Okay, I've started the timer. Okay, American aggression caused the outbreak of the Korean War. Okay, so source. Okay, I'm going to do the support side. Source B supports the statement that American aggression caused the outbreak of the Korean War. Okay, and I don't just end it here, right? I also have my inference here as it tells me that okay, and this is my my inference here. It tells me that the United States of America had South Korea under its control. Okay. To the point under its control, I can say grasp. Okay. To the point where it provoked, okay, North Korea to attempt a takeover, okay, of South Korea. Right? Okay, so this is my inference, this is my A. Okay, so then, as I said before, our evidence here would just be that line, right? They must liquidate the unpatriotic fascist puppet regime of Syngman Rhee. Okay, the source tells me that, okay, now I'm only going to pull out one piece of evidence, okay? Those of you who love pulling out many pieces of evidence, okay, this is what you do, right? You just pick out the best piece of evidence, all right? Because the source tells me that the Korean people must defend the Korean Democratic People's Republic and its constitution. They must liquidate the unpatriotic fascist puppet regime of Syngman Rhee, which has been established in the southern part. Okay, I'm just going to stop here. All right, so this is my P here. Okay. This suggests that, okay, now I explain the evidence, right? How does it show that it was American aggression that caused the outbreak of the Korean War? All right, this suggests that South Korea was actually led by a puppet regime, okay, with Syngman Rhee in charge and under the thumb, okay, I can't even think of this word, under the firm control, manipulation, okay, of the United States of America, okay, where it was actually the US controlling all of South Korea. Okay. Right, and I'm not done here. Okay, I'm not done here. All I did was to explain, sort of like rephrase, okay, all I did here was to rephrase the evidence. Okay, I have not explained how it caused the outbreak of the Korean War yet. Okay. All right, so this is just me explaining the evidence. I'm just going to put here explain evidence only. All right. Okay. This was so okay, let me just put it as shocking or untenable. Okay, so untenable meaning that it was so unacceptable. Okay, let me just change it. So unacceptable, okay, to Kim Il-sung, okay, the author of this source, that he felt that there was a need to take back control of South Korea, as he saw, okay, I'm going to use the words that we talked about here. Okay, this is us having broken down what outbreak of the Korean War is, which is the issue, right? As he saw American aggression in terms of its control of South Korea and viewed it as an act of intimidation that deserve to towards North Korea, thereby launching his attack on South Korea. okay, leading to the outbreak of the Korean War. Okay, I took a little more than 5 minutes. Okay. So if you look here, right, what I've done here in the very first part here, okay, is really just to explain, it's really just to explain the evidence alone. Okay, but I have not explained how it caused the outbreak of the Korean War, right? I must tell the marker that, you know, for Kim Il-sung, the author of the source, right, because this is his perspective, right? This was so shocking that he felt that there's a need to take back control. That's why he says, right, we must liquidate the unpatriotic fascist puppet regime. Okay. All right. So then I explained towards leading to the outbreak of the Korean War because he saw American aggression as an act of intimidation. Therefore, he needs to launch his attack on South Korea. Okay. All right. So this is very thoroughly explained, but please note that I only use one piece of evidence. Okay. I don't need to explain the whole source. Okay. So when I see your work later, I must only see that you guys pick the best piece of evidence. Okay, so let me just put there. P, pick one, your best piece. Your best piece of evidence. Okay, let me start your, okay, I'm going to stop share here. Let me start your, let me start your breakout rooms. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rooms. Okay, so let participants choose room. Okay, so for example, Akila and Li Xuan, you are source A, so you just choose breakout room 1. Okay, and so on. Okay, so Chloe and Alia, you guys are working together, so you do the opposing side. All right, I'm gonna give you guys 5 minutes. Okay, from the time you guys enter the breakout room. Okay, so go ahead, open our rooms. He can join the breakout rooms. So are you there? Okay, you should be in breakout room 2. Okay, working with Alia. So are you there? recording. Okay, so this part here is Aquila and Li Xuan's inference. Okay, good inference. The source shows a picture trying to ignite it, and the communists are stopping them. Okay, so the communists here in particular would be China, right? China is the one that's stopping them. Okay, because they're trying and prevent the USA from invading Korea. Okay, so them wanting to attack first. All right. Okay, okay, it's not bad actually. It was unacceptable to the communists. Okay. All right, yeah, in terms of them wanting to attack first, you can even go on to say, all right, I will write the parts here in red. Okay, as the communists saw this attack as a provocation, okay, intimidation, okay, act of war even. All right, that, yeah. Okay, so not bad. All right, it's quite thoroughly explained towards the outbreak of the Korean War. Okay, if you only stopped here, right, defenders to try and prevent the USA from invading Korea, all right, you're just telling me, oh, because one of them wanted to attack the other, so then they attack each other. But like, that's not enough, right? You need to tell me, how does this lead to war? How does this lead to the communists deciding to defend their country or defend South Korea or North Korea in this case? Okay. Okay, so moving on. All right, so we're looking at source B now. Okay, it does not support the statement that American aggression caused outbreak of the Korean War. Okay, as it was, okay, let me just put it in here, right? Because if it's not American aggression, then it was something else. It was another factor. As it was due to the conflicting ideologies between North Korea and South Korea without any American involvement. Okay, good. So you're telling me that if it was not American aggression, if it was not that factor, then it was something else. So in this case, it's the conflicting ideologies between North and South Korea. Okay, good. Source tells me that the war, which was a just war for the unification and independence of the motherland and for freedom and democracy. Okay, good piece of evidence. This suggests the was mainly because of their opposing beliefs. Okay, and not because of external help or factors. Okay. All right, even better here, the fact that Kim Il-sung did the outbreak as an initiative to unite North and South Korea. Good. Okay, so you tell me that it was, you tell me that it was not because of American involvement. In fact, it was because Kim Il-sung saw it as part of his motivations or his agenda to unite North and South Korea. Okay. Yeah, I think it's this explained quite thoroughly. Okay. I think if you want to continue explaining, if you want to like strengthen your explanation, can move on to telling me that what the opposing beliefs is lah. So reunification under the two leaders control, right? So that's the opposing beliefs, right? They believe, okay, they believe the same thing lah, which is that these two sides of the country need to be reunified, but it was because of it was under their own like control. Okay, source C. Let me look at source C to refresh my memory. Source C. Okay, this is about the North Korean history book one. Okay, source C supports the statement that American aggression caused the outbreak of Korean War. Okay, as it tells me the USA had planned to use South Korea as a place to expand the empire. Very good. Okay, so you could very clearly identify that it was what about American aggression here. Okay, let's check. Okay, good piece of evidence. Links well. This suggests it was just a stepping stone. Okay, good. For the USA to expand its territories. Okay, this is a good explanation of the evidence. This shows the Americans being the aggressors in the war, hence causing the outbreak of the Korean War. Okay, this part here, right, hence causing the outbreak of the Korean War, I think you need to further extend this. Okay, let me just put a note here so you guys know. Needs to be further extended, right? So what if Americans are aggressors, right? You haven't explained it thoroughly to the outbreak of the Korean War, right? Because it's not enough that one side is the aggressor, right? War involves two sides, right? War involves two parties deciding to actively fight against each other, right? So you need to tell me that hence, okay, I'm gonna help you guys edit here. Heightening the tensions between the communists and Americans. All right. And Americans as the communists viewed, okay, perceive American aggression as an act of intimidation or provocation, which was unacceptable and needed to be dealt with. Okay, so this part here needed to be dealt with, right? The communists deciding to go to war against the Americans too. Okay, Zane, Kaushaw, Ken. All right, actually, I think it's pretty good start. All right, was just a stepping stone for the USA to expand its territories, right? I think you explained how it was American aggression. It's just the last part. You need to explain towards the issue, which is the outbreak of the Korean War. Okay. Okay, source D. All right, let's just take 5 more minutes for this. All right. Okay, so source D, excerpt of President Truman's memoirs. Yeah. Okay. So source D does not agree the American aggression caused the outbreak of the Korean War. Okay, so if it was not this factor, as it was the communists, okay, who were, okay, I'm just editing a grammar here. Communists who were a threat to the US. Communists who were a threat to the US. Okay. Fine. All right. Communists who were a threat to the US. And okay. From source D, generally must draw the line against communist expansion somewhere. Okay. Ken, I think this evidence is good, but I would feel that if I look at source D, right, a source, like a more obvious / a better piece of evidence to use here would actually be the second last sentence. The attack on South Korea makes it plain beyond all doubt that communist influence is getting stronger, and we shall not let such a rotten government get its way. Okay, why I say it's a better piece of evidence? I mean, they both say exactly the same thing, right? Which is that it's about communist expansion that was a threat to the US. Okay, but I think the second last sentence, it's a bit more obvious, like it's more to the point, right? So in that case, if it's more to the point, then it feels like you don't really have to explain that much. Okay, so let me look at your explanation here. This suggests that communists were being too aggressive. Okay, good. To the point where the line between South Korea and North Korea had to be drawn. Okay, this is very literal. Your explanation here is a bit too literal. What do I mean by too literal, right? Yes, it's about drawing the line between South Korea and North Korea, but actually he means it more like metaphorically. He's saying that communist expansion is just increasing and increasing, that we must draw the line, we must set our boundaries very clearly, that this is unacceptable. Okay, so it's not a literal, okay, we must draw the line. Is that communist expansion shouldn't even happen, right? So it shouldn't even happen, but it's happening to a very unacceptable point. Okay, that it needs to be clearly shown that communist expansion cannot exist. Okay, so I will rephrase your sentence here, that the line between South Korea and North have to be drawn. Actually, it's more that point where communism. Oh, actually, this part here will be a good piece, good explanation. Will not spread into its neighboring country, and there'll be a limit to its influence. Okay, so good piece of explanation here had been drawn to the point. Okay, let me just edit this part here, where it was getting out of hand, and the Americans felt that. Okay, and this is also where I have an issue with your explanation too. As it says that the communists are to be blamed for causing the outbreak of war, but you haven't explained the outbreak of war yet. Okay, you haven't explained the outbreak of war yet. You haven't explained, so what if communists are being too aggressive? How does this lead to the Americans deciding to invade or to draw the line? Okay, and the Americans felt that communist aggression had to be checked, limited, therefore starting the invade. Leading to their decision to defend Korea, South Korea. Okay. All right. So then this part here would be your explanation towards the issue. All right. Americans felt that communist aggression had to be checked. All right. Limited. So this is them making the active decision to defend South Korea. Okay. Edissa, Hashin, Huixi, are you guys okay? Do you understand what I mean by you haven't fully explained towards the issue here? Okay, Edissa, okay? Okay, Huixi, are you all right? Okay, good. So cute. Okay, last part. Okay, last part. Okay, let's see. Okay, so source E is the weird source. Okay, it's about the disguising, right? Okay. So source E opposes the statement that American aggression caused the outbreak of the Korean War. It tells me that Soviet Union was secretly assisting North Korea. Okay, sure. Source E states that he changed his uniform from that of a union. Okay. It's a spy that is disguising as a Chinese minister. Okay, execute their plans of allowing North Korea to have more military. Okay. Oops. Okay, good. I think we explained the evidence very thoroughly. This magnifies the fact that Soviet Union have been trying to cover up their intentions of supporting North Korea, which also implies that without the access to more. Okay, this is the part where I can cancel it. It's not very relevant. No, that's my track. Okay, why I say it's not very relevant is because yes, the source is also trying to tell me that Russia is lying, right? That the Soviet Union is lying about not supporting South Korea. Okay, but your main point here is that Soviet Union is secretly assisting North Korea, right? So if this is your main inference, must remember we have to be concise. Okay, we must do this within less than 3 minutes. Okay, so we really get to the point here, which implies that without the access to more weapons and firepower, North Korea could not have had the means to invade South Korea. Okay, so this is a good piece of evidence too. Good piece of explanation too. Okay, Soviet Union and North Korea initiated the war due to the free use of weapons. Oh, beautiful. Okay, so Junwei and Wei Cheng, do you understand what I mean by this part here is not very necessary? Right, because the other parts of your explanation already tell me, like it gets to the point that Soviet Union is secretly assisting North Korea, and because it's secretly assisting North Korea, right, with the help of military weapons, therefore it was not American aggression. Instead, it was Soviet Union and North Korea that started the war. Okay, so I don't need you to tell me they have been trying to cover up their intentions of supporting North Korea. Okay, you might see this as me nitpicking lah. Okay. You might see this as me nitpicking here because well, it's just one line, right? But I'm trying to help you guys be more concise here. Okay, and make sure that you guys won't overwrite. All right, this is a issue for you, Junwei. Okay. Can. All right, but other than that, it's a pretty good assertion paragraph. Okay, good. Okay, so Ethan, you are very, very late. I'll think about what to do with you later. Okay, so just to summarize everything that we've done today. All right, today you guys took more than 5 minutes per source. Okay, I'm just gonna attribute it to the fact that you guys are working together, and so you all need more time to work together. All right, but if you haven't done your homework, which is the Bowen Secondary School Mid-Year Exam 2019, your paper 11, please try and time yourself. Okay, like I said, 1 mark 2 minutes for source for section A. So each source 3 minutes, or each source here 3 minutes or less lah. Okay, so please try and time yourself to write as concisely as possible. Again, just choose one piece of evidence. Choose your best piece of evidence. Okay, I don't need you to explain the whole source to me. Okay, and to make sure that you really explain with your E, right, in mind, okay, identify your issue, break down the issue first, okay, come up with like, this is the same thing as you do with your FSEL, right? Come up with your break down the keywords, right? The issue. Come up with like keywords to sort of explain to yourself, oh, this is the outbreak of the Korean War. Okay, so like we did it here. Okay, so that when you explain your source, you can just reach for these words to really explain towards the outbreak of the Korean War. Okay, all right, so if you look at, for example, because if you look at source C, right, even though Kausha and Zane, you guys explained the source pretty well, right, it's the extension that you all need to continue with, right? Like I put here, so what if Americans are aggressors? You haven't explained towards the outbreak of the Korean War yet. You need to tell me that the communists perceive American aggression as an act of intimidation, which is unacceptable, needed to be dealt with. Okay, all right. Okay, I am done here. Okay, let me stop share here and just address you guys directly. Okay, so for you guys, the people here, your homework is the Bowen Secondary School. Okay, paper 11, right? Paper 11 here. Okay, I've already annotated it for myself. Okay, and you guys should, oh, and I already sent the video to you guys as well, right, in the WhatsApp group. So try the annotations by yourself first. Like annotate the sources by yourself first before you look at my annotations. Okay, and before you start on the paper. That's for the Bowen Secondary School. Do you guys know what your other piece of homework is? Hmm? You guys know what your other piece of homework is? Yes. Jane, do you know what your other piece of homework is?
It's to memorize the chapters, right?
Yes, very good. This is what I told you about during your PCTC2. Okay, so everyone here, what I want you guys to do, I hope you already started it. Okay, I don't want to know whether you started it or not. I'm just scared. Okay, so please go and memorize all your chapters from chapter 1 all the way to the Cuban Missile Crisis. Okay, please make sure you have everything ready lah. Okay, because when we come back, we just have one more chapter left, which is End of Cold War. Okay, so just one more chapter left, but it's a lot. Okay, so please take the remaining 2 weeks. Okay, actually, yeah, 1.5 weeks, less than 2 weeks left, right? I'll see you guys on the 27th of June. All right, back in school. So please take the remaining 2 weeks to really go back and memorize your chapters. Okay, so that this will help in your FSEL. A lot of you here, you struggle with time management because you don't have the content at your fingertips. All right, so please go back and study. You guys can do it. All right, when we come back, 27th of June, I will start with chapter 1. Okay, so you guys will have to stay back lah. Okay, on the 27th of June. I will just give you guys the quiz. All right, and then you do it until you pass. Okay, for that day. Okay, so chapter 1 is your Treaty of Versailles and League of Nations. All right, if you don't know where to find your resources, everything is in the 4446 history Google Drive. All your PowerPoint slides are in there too. Okay, so chapter 1 is your, what's the thing called? Impact of World War I, right? Which is Treaty of Versailles and League of Nations. Okay, but at the same time, study everything else, because I'm going to give you a quiz every day. Okay? Okay, that's it. Bye-bye. Okay, I will stop recording.